quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin. My name is Lars Casteen. Welcome to the show. I am your Golden Tyrant, and I am joined tonight by Robin Lange.
Good that time.
Good that time. Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Good rainy that time for us. It's been a rainy day here.
Hard
Here
same.
too.
Let's check in with our Humphreys. Is it raining where you are? Because you're in a different part of the country.
That's true. It was raining last night,
Ooh.
but not today. Today was sort of beautiful and cool and pleasant.
Old
good that
news for our Humphreys, tonight's rain. We got it. We got your rainy leftovers. And David, the Tin Man Chernicoff, is here.
Good that weather to you,
Good
listener.
that weather.
However it is, whenever you are.
David, thank you. And same to you. David, a few weeks ago, you sent a link to our group chat to a website filled with hats. And I want to talk
Good
about
hat time.
because we talk about
I can't
hats
believe I missed this link.
all the time. Well, get ready. David, can you help me
brand new
understand
to
what
me.
this link is? What we're looking at, where we're going, what it is?
Yeah.
To catch the listener up, we've talked about hats before. We talked about how I wear this New York Yankees baseball hat all over the place. When I go to pick up my child from school, the guy behind the counter wears a Mets hat every day, and I think he hates me. So, David.
Still?
Yeah, there was at one point where he was like, I got to ask you a question. Do you wear that hat because you actually like the Yankees, or do you just wear a hat?
What'd you say?
I was like, I just wear the hat, man. I don't know anything about anything. I don't know anything about baseball. I was like, I literally told him the thing, which I think is like the worst thing to say, which is like, I was just trying to think of like a baseball team, and I came up with the Yankees, and that's why I wear this
The
Yankees
guy in
hat.
a Mets hat.
Yeah,
Did he shiv you?
he did. This dude is big too. This dude is like really strong and really cool, and I'm intimidated by him in ways that maybe I should investigate at some later time. But I felt like such a dork telling him like, no, I don't know anything about baseball. He was like, because the Yankees made some pretty interesting moves yesterday. And I was like, oh, cool. That's great. I'm so glad that the Yankees made those interesting moves. I can't
I'm
contribute to this
sorry.
conversation at all.
I feel like you'd appreciate. I give this like spelling thing in my class each year, and it's all pre-written. And one of the words is dominance, and the sentence is about the Yankees. And I always get like very strong reactions from the students.
Gonna get
As
some
in-
haters on that.
When you wear a Yankees hat into a school setting and there's a strong man there, he will exert dominance over you. Is that the
Sure,
the
that's
sentence?
that's the setting. The sentence, sure.
Okay, so David, what website are we at? What are we talking about here? What is this hat time that we're having tonight?
Well, the hat time we're having tonight, it's possible, Lars, that the answer to your bodega predicament.
My bodega predicament?
Well, isn't that where you were when this person was
This is at
intimidating
my
you?
son's school. This man watches me when I pick my child up from school, and he judges
He knows
me.
who his child is.
That's so interesting. I was so busy trying to look up and find this link and the context again that I just heard that whole anecdote from you, and I just mentally placed you in a deli. So
That's
there you go.
fine. Honestly, I would rather be there for what it's worth.
Yeah. Listeners, I am great at multitasking. But no, it's possible the answer to your apparently school-based pickup and drop-off predicament may be found on the website Mr. Parmesan Mr.
Parmesan.
Mr. is spelled out, by the way, no MR nonsense.
No,
It's
yeah, misterparmesan.com. I want to give a shout out to listener and, in fact, new Patreon member, Anne in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Anne.
Thanks, Anne.
Who made us at the show aware of this with the following message. When the moment is right, will you make sure Lars knows about this?
Well, the moment's
There you
right.
go.
Now's the time.
There it is.
Yes. So here we are. And this website, I guess, specializes in hats. And in particular, the sort of, if you'll forgive an accidental pun, bread and butter is is that these are hats with various custom designs
Okay.
of lettering spelling out, it seems to be either exclusively or mostly, the names of Italian foods. Here's one that says fettuccine Alfredo in a kind
that's a
of
good one.
old school, like almost 80s kind of video game style
Oh,
font.
I haven't even seen that one. I got to track this out.
Oh.
There it is.
Here's one that says gnocchi in a way that looks kind of like we've got almost like it looks like rocks cracked, large boulders have been carved to say gnocchi, kind of like a maybe a Flintstones vibe.
Yeah.
The different colors,
Absurd.
different materials, different fonts, different font colors and sizes. This looks like a trucker hat here with a patch that says lasagna and a kind of stagecoach treatment. This is a black hat with a red stitched lettering that says tortellini in red letters, but with a kind of like blood dripping down, like horror movie style. So I think that listener Anne was probably speculating that there might be something on here that you would be able to wear around, and at least if you were accosted about it, it would be on your turf,
Right.
and on your terms, and you wouldn't need to be accepting the footing of professional sports. I asked her in response, do they have giant hats?
Yeah.
And she did not address that. So we're going to
Well, they
have to
do
see
have
what the
some
size
snapbacks.
range is on here.
Can I ask a question about this website to everyone?
Yes, please.
I have really strong reactions that some of these things, the font choice feels spot on to me as representative of the thing, and some of them feel wildly off to me.
Okay.
Can we do
Yeah.
a quick round of the one you like the best and the one that is
Ooh.
furthest away from your perception of the item?
Yes, let's do that. Everybody consider that question. I want to bring up one thing while people are coming up with choices here. All of these hats, all of these baseball caps are called dad hats. They market them as the butter dad hat, a dad hat, i.e. a baseball cap with the word butter on it. And I just want to comment while everybody is selecting their favorite and least favorite. This is something that's so offensive to me because of how true it is. I was never tempted to wear a baseball hat even for a second until I became a father. And it makes me so mad to have they just have me dead to rights. And I'm so frustrated.
What do you think changed about you spiritually that caused baseball caps to have a new appeal?
I think I have a new sense of shame that I feel like I'm broadcasting very, very loud and clear tonight. And I need to cover my head in a sort of shameful kind of like humble kind of way, I think is where it ultimately comes
Okay.
from.
Yeah.
Okay. Armet, do you have your favorite and least favorite of these hats at MrParmesan.com? Not sponsoring the podcast tonight. Sorry, go ahead.
Probably won't after this. So
Potential
sorry,
future
everyone.
sponsor, MrParmesan.com.
God, I hope so. I have gone to this website several times after you shared the link because I enjoy it that much. I actually shared it with my folks the other night, and we all sat there like as we're doing now, just like going through and being like, oh my God, that one's spot on for some reason. So I have a lot of favorites on this one.
There's a lot to like, I should say.
Yeah, I agree. There are some that just feel so like delightfully absurd and perfect pairings. I think the macaroni watch cap with the orange background and the like bright green is just like such a great non sequitur that I love it. To me, the miss is a Gouda. I love Gouda. I'm here for Gouda. I think it'd be funny to have a Gouda hat on my head and like have people look at me and be like, "The fuck is that dude wearing a Gouda hat?"
Yeah, good question.
I agree, Armat. That was going to be. It makes Gouda seem very silly, and to be honest, I think Gouda is a pretty serious cheese.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like Gouda's a silly cheese.
All right, I'm going to go
I'll
ahead and
have a little bit of fun with it.
log
Okay.
serious versus silly cheeses as a future
Okay.
chat
Oh,
topic because
good,
I
good.
really want to get
Yes.
into that, but
We're
we
back to
are
the
way
sandwich
down
salad
on a
soup.
branch of a branch of a branch here, and we cannot possibly open up something that interesting.
Yeah.
That is comedy gold.
I like
right
that.
there.
I like that.
Yep.
David, the Tin Man. What wins? What loses?
I think for me the one that jumps out to me as a winner is the ham hat, which is a bright pink hat with kind of friendly, bubbly block lettering that is also pink,
And shiny.
with a darker pink drop shadow on the lettering. So we've just got an absolute sort of pink explosion on there.
It makes me think of Porky Pig,
It does.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It
which
does.
is just upsetting.
Right. It's the part of Porky Pig that is not wearing clothing, which is most of Porky Pig.
Yes.
There's a couple on here that I would consider to be duds. I think the one that I have like the instinctive negative reaction about is the knit beanie style cap that says linguini. It is a black cap with white lettering, but it's that kind of gothic lettering
Mm.
that is often used for kind of like old school like hip hop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that makes me feel like they're kind of going for that joke,
Yep.
which I'm not that into.
Okay.
So that's probably my least favorite. On.
Robin, what is your most and least favorite?
The one that I would wear, actually, and I'm just going by the one I think I would wear, is actually the linguini hat.
Ah, controversy.
Oh,
Wow.
Interesting.
The one that makes me that feels like it's just the biggest waste is the rigatoni hat.
Rigatoni hat. What
Brown
does that look
rigatoni
like?
on an olive drab corduroy.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I would actually wear that. I like that a lot.
I could get
It's a
that
great
on that
word.
one.
Well,
That's
because
interesting.
you'll blend
Yeah,
in the woods.
It's washed
That
out.
is true.
You're right. It's unfair to rigatoni. It's ungenerous.
Rigatoni's great, and I can't appreciate rigatoni with that hat.
I'll tell you what would not blend into the woods, and that's the ham hat.
My favorite, easy choice, bolognese, #1, classic look.
a good
It's
one.
fabulous. It
That's
looks
good.
amazing. Everybody loves it. And here comes the least favorite. Are you ready for this? It's gnocchi, because I hate gnocchi. It's terrible.
No, it's a reaction to the item listed.
Yeah, I
not
don't
the
even want to
hat.
think about it. I don't want it evoked. I don't want it in my hat. Zoe, let's wrap this up. What do you think your tops and bottoms of these dad hat food things are?
Dad hat food things are. I enjoy the oysters hat, which is a simple blue with a sort of squiggly white situation. It feels like oysters to me. In addition to Gouda, which stood out to me, I don't love blood drippy tortellini. Why do we have blood drippy tortellini? It's on
Yeah.
sale,
Yeah.
so it's the one hat on the site for sale. I feel
Yeah.
uplifted by that.
Yeah.
They're having trouble moving these tortellinis.
Sorry, you didn't like the tortellini one?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and check their return policy.
Okay, well, maybe I should get one of these. No, I can't get a dad hat. Maybe I should get a knit cap because my head's too big for the snapback, so that's not going to work. But maybe I should get this this pecorino hat or something. That's about how I feel when I walk around these days. Feel like a little bit of a pecorino, right? No,
What about the bolognese corduroy hat?
it's not going to be big enough for my head. Head too big, baby.
Wish they had any information on sizing on these.
That's the thing. That's the one critical follow up. But look, Anne never promised us a rose garden. She just said, "Hey, this might be the right place to start."
If somebody ever invented a snapback extender, just like 2 or 3 extra snaps that I could use to bridge between one or the
Sure,
other,
that exists on Amazon, sir.
I've looked for it. I've looked.
I just Googled it and it exists.
It's got to
Yeah.
exist, yeah.
All right. You know what else has to exist is this review that we got on Podcast Addict. Thank you so much to Kaiser Bob 05 who left just this easy, simple, beautiful, breezy cover girl kind of review. We love it. This is what they said. Most enjoyable part of my workday. Great rules explainers, fun and interesting characters. That's all it takes. It's a great review. You just say things you like
Thank
about the
you.
podcast, and then we read it on the show. It's that simple.
Bammo, you're done.
Bammo, you're done. I'm done. It's time for us to play our game. You've been spending this summer morning searching for the remnants of a sinister key using the power of an even more sinister artifact. The 5 pieces of a shattered amulet stand between you and entrance into an enormous pentagram-laden door here on the prison level of Belcora Haravex's Abomination vaults, and you're currently following the guidance of a magic-infused ruby left behind by one of the vault's most heinous residents. The magic of the ruby has led you to the door of a prison cell block that seems to have been used for equipment storage of some sort for quite some time. After you attracted their attention via a protracted and loud battle, the devil and flesh-warped soldiers on the other side of this door peeked out, interrupting your attempts to heal up. And now, these frazzled foot soldiers have launched into a disorganized, panicked assault.
I'm so pleased that it's disorganized and panicked.
Okay, so here is the situation, just to recap what's happened in this fight so far. When this fight started, the Zebub, this devil that is a cross between a cherub and a fly. The Zebub working in this storage room was clearly expecting Iyagian, the bone devil, to win your fight and was surprised to find you on the other side of the door. You used that to your advantage after they opened the door to make some last-second preparations, and then the Dreshkins that were with the Zebub, while blinded, started indiscriminately firing electrified needles into the hallway at you, catching some of their allies in the process. Now, after Ao has taken control of the mind of a Grothlet here, it is now Mag's turn.
Well, first I'm going to rage, so that's action 1. What I want to do is run into the hallway and grab the Zebub.
Yeah, so there are 2 Dreshkins in the hallway, and if you wanted to, you could potentially sort of juke past them and get all the way up to that Zebub.
Yeah, I'd run out of actions because of how long, because of the need to sort of weave in and out of everybody, I'd run out of actions. So maybe that'll be something that happens next turn instead of this turn. This turn, I'll keep it a little simpler. I will just step into the near part of the hallway, not sprint all the way down to the far end, and just take up a position on the other side of this Dreshkin that's immediately confronting us.
Hey, I'm helping flank.
Yeah, which would set up a flank, get the thing off guard.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just flank is still the correct word,
It's
right?
still flank. I'm borderline going to make an it's still flank drop. I may have to do that.
It's still flank.
Okay.
There you go. Drop written.
Flank, flank, flank.
It's just that easy.
You're welcome again.
I have to do all the work around here.
Anytime we need something musical, we gotta
That's gotta be me.
get Zoe on the case. I'm going to take one whack at this Dreshkin that's in the lead here and that's getting in Trill's face. That is terrible roll. It's a 20 to hit.
Oh,
That's not going to do it.
yeah, that absolutely does it. You manage to catch the Dreshkin easily and slam the Earthbreaker straight into it.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, these things are a low enough level.
These are like level
Yes.
4 Dreshkins.
That is, oh, okay. Hefty damage roll, 27 damage.
Okay, so Mag rages, steps into this room, and swings her Earthbreaker back around into the Dreshkin as it is distracted by Trill and knocks the wind straight out of it. This mechanical hybrid thing just goes, and electricity starts coursing all around its body as it starts shaking as though it's about to blow apart. And it is now Isthen's turn.
Did Dirge of Doom help with that? With hitting that?
Yeah, it did. Well, I mean, it didn't make the
Nice.
difference, but its AC was certainly lower due to Dirge of Doom, yes.
Great. Making sure that's still coming in there.
Yeah, it seems like it is
I'm doing
frightened
something.
by your song.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Isthen is just gonna make a spell strike at that same injured Dreshkin, see if can't finish this thing off.
Injure it permanently.
Yes.
And remember, you've got guidance.
So I'm just gonna hit this with Ignition, the spell formerly known as Produce Flame.
Yes.
And Lars, because it's melee, do I get the little damage bump?
You do. Yeah, Ignition is a
Hey.
spell that does more damage in melee than in range, so this is an ideal time to use it.
Okay. Well, I think I did pretty well. That's a 36 to hit.
What did you roll on the D20, do you know?
I rolled a 20 on the D20.
No, that's a good number, right?
You gotta draw. Nice.
I feel like we haven't
Nice.
gotten one of these in a while.
Hey, you haven't
Nice.
gotten one of these in a while. We started using a new crit deck a million years ago and have not rolled a single 20 anywhere in this game. Here's how the crit deck works, because there is a certain amount of displeasure from, let's just say, me and also our listeners and everybody else about the Paizo crit deck. So we have a brand new, extremely simple solution. Here's the deal. I have all of the spades of a deck of cards right here in my hand. I am shuffling those, and I'm drawing a card. If I roll the ace of spades, you have aced your target, and you will do triple damage. Every card that I draw from this deck will remain drawn. It will not be available in the future until you draw an ace. So this triple damage crit becomes more and more likely the longer it is that we wait. But maybe you will draw the ace right now. Are you ready, Armat?
Question.
Yeah.
When it's drawn, do you then reshuffle, or do we have to wait 51 cards when you draw it right
I
now?
just have the spades. We have 14 cards. It's just spades right now in my hand.
So at the moment, there's a 1 in 14 chance, and if
Yes.
it's not the ace, that means the next time someone gets it, it's a 1 in 13
Correct.
chance.
What about the time after that?
No reason to get
Then
into
it's
that.
a 1 in 2. Then it's just a 1/2 chance. Time and space
That's
don't
the
matter.
thing about with the coin. It's always a half.
Okay, Armat, are you ready for your card? Did you ace this Dreshkin? Are you ready?
Let me answer in the following way. If you like to gamble, I tell you, I'm your man. You win some, lose some. It's all the same to me.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Here's your card.
card I need is
You drew
the 5 of spades.
the 5 of spades. So that means that we are looking at just double damage. So this spell strike that you critted with, what does your double damage look like?
So I got 2 8s on the 2d8 staff damage. So that's 44 bludgeoning.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage.
Wow.
And I got 2 6s on the ignition roll, which was 5d6 for a total of 25 fire damage and 46 persistent fire damage.
Okay. So you did about 70 more damage than this creature had hit points. So
Okay.
Isthen
Yeah.
runs
So glad I
forward,
gave him guidance.
fire charging, charging around everything. This Dreshkin gets blasted against the wall right next to Mag and is now no more. So,
Cool.
huge. Why don't we roll 20s more often, guys? Please.
It seems like a good plan.
It's a great
honestly.
plan.
Yeah, I liked that. We should do
Yeah.
that again.
That was so
I-
much damage. That was a total of 94 points of damage and 4d6 persistent fire damage. Outrageous.
cool.
Completely ridiculous.
Isthen is so good.
So Istin, you've got one more action.
Yeah, he's gonna drop into his arcane cascade stance, or his arcade cascade stance, as many classy people call it.
It is now the top of round 2. Here's the situation. Mag has stepped into this room next to this grothlet. 2 Dreshkins stand between Mag and this Zabub, while the rest of you trail out into the hallway, perhaps ready to make a push into this chamber shortly. I mentioned last time that I failed to get the grothlet's piteous moan going, so I'm going to start getting that now. This is Ao's grothlet, which I see has been renamed Tim. And at the beginning of round 2, it is Ao's turn, which means that I need you to make this will save. As Tim's moan
From my own
reverberates.
grothlet?
Yes.
Mine own Tim would damage my ears?
Reaction?
Okay.
Counter performance?
Okay, so here's the deal, Robin. You're cheating already. You should not have been doing
How?
because you had 0 focus points going into this combat, and you already did a
Oh, you're right. I don't have another focus point.
You have 0
Yeah.
focus points. You currently have -1
No,
focus points.
I thought I had 1 going into this combat.
I strongly disagree.
Okay.
I have listened back to the tapes. I have taken my notes. Yeah, you did lingering composition for both Dirge of Doom and Courageous Anthem in the Ayagian fight. And then we had no time to refocus because these guys opened the door immediately. So we're running with 0 focus points from Trill at the moment.
I appreciate your kindness then with the Dirge of Doom.
Oh no, well, we'll get to it when it's your turn. We'll see what happens then.
What?
Yes.
Dude, well, if I didn't have a focus point for it, how would you have let me cast it in the first place?
The thing that's going to happen, and we may as well do this now. Why not do it now? It's just that your lingering composition didn't happen, so you got a round of Dirge of Doom. Because lingering composition is the thing that costs the focus point.
Oh. Okay. That's fair.
Okay, cool.
So is everyone still frightened right now or not?
Yeah, they're still frightened
Yeah,
until
Dirge
the
of Doom still
beginning of
happened
Trill's turn.
because it's
Great.
yeah.
Okay, so Zoe, how did Ao do on that will save as you tried to resist Tim's moan?
28 for old plug-in ears to Timmy.
That is a critical success. You are completely unaffected.
Down, boy, she shouts. And then, what is the deal going to be? Tim and Mag have formed a little wall here. If I want to try and shoot chompers past them, how tall is Tim? Like, do I get sort of a blockage penalty here?
Yeah,
if
it's lesser cover to shoot through like a creature, so that'll add 1 to anybody that anybody else's armor class that you're trying to hit past them.
Then Ao is going to sidle her way over the dead Dreshkin through, she pats Timmy on the head.
Timmy
and gets chompers.
We're that
Tim,
familiar with
sorry.
this Grothlet so quickly already. We're at a diminutive with this.
Ao's not one to make herself unfamiliar
Okay.
with someone. Either she's in or she's out. And identifying the Zabub as the leader of this whole operation, fires 2 quick arrows at that Zabub.
As these arrows fly through the air, the Zabub shouts at the Dreshkins,
Dude, you're supposed to keep me safe. Oh.
as these arrows fly towards her face.
And that's a 30 to hit.
That's a critical hit against the Zabub.
Hey. All right, that is 39 points of damage.
And as the Zabub shouts,
Dude, you're supposed to protect me.
the arrow impales it through its neck, and its head tumbles to the floor as it dies.
Yikes. Yikes. Not expecting that, Ao sort of grins quietly to herself and fires the next arrow at the Dreshkin that is just to the southwest. It's the one further away. Unless it would be better to aim for the other one, or I can change the results here if I don't hit it, and then I'm going to say it was actually the other one.
Well,
Oh no, I'm going to say it was that one, because that's a 20 on the die.
Okay, first off, this cheating is ridiculous, but here's the jingle. You gotta draw. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, did we draw the ace? Are you ready?
I am. Oh, it's a 9.
The 9 of spades.
But now our odds are a half, according to Robin's math.
I was about to say that
50%
according to the
chance.
math we did. Yeah, it's great.
You're not a math teacher,
Just
are
keep
you,
rolling 20s.
Robin?
Shh.
Okay, so that's just regular old critical damage, not triple.
Right. And that's 34 points of damage.
Okay, so this second arrow from AO, as she treads into the room, fires off 2 quick arrows. The Zebub falls dead, and this Dreshkin again starts. This other Dreshkin, just like the first one, starts twitching as electricity starts drawing itself all around its body. And with that, this Dreshkin is going to start.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is going to feel so good if it's right. I have had for approximately 100 million years some sort of beak thing attached
The
to my
Bloodseeker
bow.
beak? Yes.
Yes! And it's supposed to trigger with a critical hit.
Well, it triggers when you say it triggers. Let's take a look at the old Bloodseeker beak here.
I am saying now that it triggers.
Okay. You might be saying it too late, though, is my issue.
Oh, I see.
Also, I can't find it in your... There it is. So the trigger is you hit an off-guard creature with the affixed weapon. Yeah, so do you want to trigger that now?
I do. I mostly just want to out of having to think about it. But yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this says that when you hit with it, you do an extra D4 of damage. So let's roll that D4, and we're going to double that because it was a critical hit.
Yeah, we are. That's 2. And I have doubled it already. Additional points of damage. Gosh,
Okay.
that feels good to get rid of that Bloodseeker beak.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
can finally stop hearing about it.
Yeah, everyone's been waiting. Like, when is this Bloodseeker
yes.
beak thing
Yeah.
gonna? When is
At
Chekhov's
long last.
Bloodseeker beak
Every
gonna
couple of
be?
nights, like just as I'm falling asleep, Zoe will violently shake me awake.
Babe, tomorrow's the day.
Still haven't been able to use that godforsaken Bloodseeker beak.
That Dreshkin is also going to start taking bleed damage as the Bloodseeker beak digs in deep. That's going to be 2d4 bleed damage. As this Bloodseeker beak punctures the Dreshkin, the Bloodseeker is like an enormous mosquito, right? This is like the beak of a 3-foot wingspan mosquito that you have attached to your arrow and shot straight into this creature. So now that mosquito beak is essentially draining it of blood right now.
You
So-
guys, I finally got my bite attack.
This Dreshkin is not
It only
happy.
took 130 episodes.
That's right.
This Dreshkin is unhappy about that and is going to respond by firing a quick needle at Ao. And depending on how this goes, we're going to see what happens. Okay, I rolled very poorly. I rolled a 4 on my die for a 16 to hit. And I passed
That is
my flat
not
check for
gonna
being
hit.
dazzled. Okay. So that means this Dreshkin is going to start acting defensively. They back up a little bit further into the hallway and strike once more at Ao with its attack. That time, I got the crit card. 20 on the die.
Hot dice.
Wait, so you get to draw the ace?
I do.
Nice.
Will I
Well,
You
ace?
got a
It's a
50-50
50%
shot.
chance.
That figures that it's coming now that you got the 50-50 shot.
And I stacked the deck appropriately, so this should work out. Did I draw the ace? I did. Triple.
Oh, this is outrageous. I've got a new thing where I rig the deck. You all just heard it.
Okay.
There's a hat on Mr. Parmesan that's a bucket hat that just says rude on it. I would like to put that on right now.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to roll triple damage, and I'm reshuffling our crit deck. So I do a total of 39 points of damage to Ao as this Dreshkin reflexively manages to do a total of 3 piercing and 36 electricity damage
Is there some
Okay.
kind of? I feel like there has to be a.
Glimpse of redemption.
Yeah, I'm looking for a glimpse here. Give me a second. I'm tentatively saying I might use something here to see if there's something I could use.
I
I
cannot
don't know, babe.
believe that happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, we heard it all. You rigged it. Oh, whatever. Why not? I've got a couple of extra hero points here. All right, I'm going to use a card appropriately called Your Move, Creep.
Okay, here comes the thing.
Sorry, and to be clear by that intonation, Lars, I meant you were the creep.
No, I got it. Trust me.
Yeah, okay. Just
I
wanted to make sure
know
that
what's
came
going
through.
on.
This is from Jim from Appleton, Wisconsin. I get this as a reaction when an enemy strikes me on their turn, which I believe did just happen.
It did.
I have baited the enemy into striking me. Makes sense. I just took a chunk out of it. I use my reaction to give all my strikes a +1 circumstance bonus to hit, and I leave the enemy off guard, bow chicka wow wow, until the end of my next turn.
Phenomenal. Thank you so
Also,
much to Jim.
RoboCop
Yes.
reference, I believe.
Thank you to Alex Murphy for that one. Yeah, I think this is a great time to use this. I love it. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I am a
Sold.
creep. Great.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it for that Dreshkin's turn. It shot, it stepped back, it shot again. At the beginning of Trill's turn, we have already established lingering composition did not happen. That means that Dirge of Doom fades at the beginning of her turn because she has no focus points. So, what will Trill do?
Well, having that one move, that Dreshkin move further back, changed all my plans. So I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do.
Should we head back to town?
I think so.
You could take 10 minutes and refocus now, and we'd be fine. Let's just,
Yeah, I think we would be, honestly.
We're gonna beast these weirdos.
I may die, but other than that, it's fine.
A small price to pay.
To relax in the midst of chaos.
I guess I'll just go ahead and do Force Barrage. Not Magic Missile, Force Barrage
Okay.
Bow chicka wow wow.
on the closest Dreshkin.
Would you kindly, before you do that, would you please make a will save to contend with Tim's piteous moan?
Oh, yeah, sure. I can do that.
Quiet, Timmy.
That was a 28.
Okay, that's a critical success, and I will let you know
Fabulous.
that the Dreshkin who just went failed and is now and became sickened 1.
Oh, good.
Fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and send off 3. I don't know what to call them now.
Well,
Am I still allowed to call them missiles? Because a barrage is like a concept rather than a thing.
You can call them whatever you want. Just don't call them late for dinner.
You sound like my father.
Pulses, but pulses.
It's a barrage.
Of
It's a barrage of force.
Oh, so it's not even like missiles. Just so I send a force at
You
him.
fire a shard of solidified magic toward a creature. You are firing shards, Robin.
I like shard. I'll take shard. Okay.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to send 3 shards of magical force at the Dreshkin.
The one that AO just hit.
No, the one that's closest that's unharmed.
Okay.
So that is 13 points of damage.
Okay, the shards collide with the Dreshkin in rapid succession.
And that's Trill's turn.
Okay. It
Get him,
is
guys.
now the turn of the Dreshkin that Trill just hit. That Dreshkin is going to attempt to frantically retaliate and will run. Can't get past the Grothlet. Do they have the ability to acrobatics? They do. So it's going to try to tumble through the Grothlet, tumbling just past Mag and Ao.
Well, does that trigger a
Reactive strike.
non-attack of opportunity?
It
Yes.
does trigger a reactive strike. Yes, as it attempts to step past you, tumbling past the Grothlet, you can get a reactive strike off.
Well then, glimpse, please. 29 to hit.
That 29 hits, only barely not a critical.
Wow, it's pretty close to max damage. That is 30 damage.
30 damage. So this Dreshkin, as it attempts to tumble past Mag, gets walloped, and then it's going to make an acrobatics check against the Grothlet's reflex DC. I just rolled a 14 on my die, which does not beat the Grothlet's reflex DC of 15, so it bonks into the Grothlet and steps back. So that's awful. And what that means is that this Grothlet is now just sees that AO can't get to Trill, sees that AO is hurt, and is going to opportunistically go after AO instead.
Oh, I didn't notice how badly hurt AO was. Shit.
Yes, I did say the thing about dying before, and I was not being totally hyperbolic.
Yeah.
A little.
That's on me. That's on me.
It's a 28 to hit AO.
That does
claw.
hit.
But, wait. I do believe that both of them are within 15 feet of Trill.
Okay.
Is that correct? Or are they?
I don't know.
Are they both within 15 feet of Trill?
Yes. They are both within
Glimpse,
15.
please.
Are we?
Oh.
With my hero point.
Okay. Here we
How
go.
many of these are there?
I just want to say something
I'm-
before you read this card. It is my main goal as a GM to get as many resources spent on the dumbest combats possible. And as such, I am doing my job so well today. The number
I
of...
just don't want to see.
Okay, continue.
If it's a good roll, if it's a good hit and AO goes down, I'll feel terrible.
Okay, so what is this hero point card?
Glimpse, please, from Marcus from the Netherlands.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
Welcome to our
So the trigger-
game.
So
Welcome to our
general
table.
glimpse trigger, and the effect says, through the power of puns and your memory of your former allies' enjoyable reactions, you summon a swarm of imps around your ally.
This is making me so upset.
The
I'm
enemy
genuinely angry.
damaging your ally must choose
Mhm.
that either the ally is unharmed by the triggering attack,
Yep.
or the enemy gets, swarmed by the swarm. They are blinded until the end of your next turn. So are you gonna put that through to AO and get blinded, or is AO unharmed?
I'm going to put it through to AO, and imps pop out of, and it makes sense, imps are devils. Perhaps when this Zabub died, more imps were summoned out from hell. They swarm around this Dreshkin. The Dreshkin is now blinded, and AO takes 11 points of damage.
That's a big chunk of what she had left.
Okay, and here we go. I'm going to take one more action on my turn. I'm going to draw from this cluttered pile of objects in front of me.
You doing the Ace
Something
of Spades thing again? We
I
get
like
it.
to
You
call
rigged it.
the Eye of Hoot. It is a D20 that I roll manually when I want to be annoying. AO has 4 hit points right now, and I am attacking with this Dreshkin at a map of -5. Here we go. I roll a physical die. I could be cheating. Nobody would know. Let's see what happens. There's a spider in this box. Here we go. Okay. I rolled a 13 on my die, meaning
All
that
right.
I have rolled a 21 to hit AO.
Whew. Thankfully, that misses.
Yay.
Oh, and I'm also making a flat check to see if I miss with the blindedness. I do not. My flat check passes, but I miss with the attack. So the Dreshkin
Flat
has
check
a
is better than your
clear
attack.
sense of where AO is, but misses. And AO lives to,
All those imps, and it can tell. That's impressive.
and I'm going to continue forgetting to roll this will save against Piteous Moan. Let's see how I did. I passed it. Okay, great. Speaking of Piteous Moan, it is now Zoe's Grothlet's turn. It moans piteously, is no longer slowed, and has a total of 3 actions to use. Zoe, what do you think Tim, the Grothlet, will be doing on this turn?
That's such a good question.
Thank you.
Zoe, do you think AO might have Tim wander over to Mag and take her last healing potion and bring it over to AO? Like a butler?
Well, I can battle medicine myself in
Oh,
theory.
that's true.
I mean, then I'd be using my actions, and I could potentially do more damage than Tim. I don't think Ao thinks to go to Mag for a healing potion. I think she would assume she has it. It doesn't feel like what she'd have the Grothlet do. I think, frankly, she's pretty pissed at this Dreshkin. Can Timmy here grab things?
Yes, Tim has an athletics skill, so Tim can do that.
Is he very athletic? He doesn't seem like he'd be all that athletic, let's be honest.
He's not great at many things.
Yeah, no, he's just gonna throw up all over this Dreshkin.
He's good at that.
No, first he's gonna swipe out with a claw. So she's just gonna have him. He's just been moaning the whole time, right? No one can think straight because this thing is just moaning. So first he does that, and that is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, bless you, Timmy. That's a 9 damage.
Okay.
Then Timmy is going to throw up on this Dreshkin. Because why not? He's been moaning for so long without swallowing properly that it's just what happens.
Oh, rough.
That's an 11 to hit, which I'm guessing won't do it.
Yeah, that misses, yes.
So then she sends him. What's his? I bet he moves a lot really fast. What's his
Yeah.
range of motion here?
He seems to have a speed of 20 feet.
Good for him. So he scoots 20 feet up the hallway to sort of block her off and, create a distraction for that other Dreshkin up the hallway.
I gotta say, I love everything about what just happened. I'm gonna give Timmy a hero point.
Timmy gets a hero point!
Wait, Timmy gets the hero point?
I love it. I love that for Timmy.
I'll give it to you. Zoe, I'll give it to you. You get the
okay.
you get another hero point.
Timmy's days are so likely numbered that I like the idea he gets this moment
Yeah.
in the sun with a hero point,
Me
but
too.
I'll take it.
Spend it on him.
So the Grothlet
Spend it on
slashes, emits digestive spew, and then sets up a defensive position to shield Ao from further attacks, and it is now Mag's turn. At the beginning of your turn, I would like you to make a will save.
Yes. You're
We just can't help but moan piteously.
As
27.
you critically resist the piteous moan, you are unaffected.
Now we take another whack at the Dreshkin that is right in front of Mag, which is also immediately adjacent to Ao. So let's get this thing off Ao's for 20 to hit.
That hits. You hit it on the
Love it.
button. Because it is blinded, it is flat-footed, it is off guard to you, and its AC is lower.
22 damage.
22 damage
that
means
dispatch it?
that you dispatch it. The Dreshkin collapses on the
Good.
ground. Last bits of electrical charge dissipating harmlessly into these stacks of crates that you have knocked it into.
Okay, so final 2 actions will go sudden charge with it so that I can get on its far side and flank it with Tim. That's only an 18. I bet that doesn't do it.
That 18 does it for
Oh,
a few reasons. One, it's off guard. Two, it is sickened because it failed its piteous moan. So you manage to connect as you charge past this second Dreshkin with the Earth Breaker.
whack-a-mole. It's 18 damage.
Okay. So 18 damage. The Dreshkin takes that. Electricity surges all over the place. So Mag smacks one of these Dreshkins down, charges across the room, and blocks the end of the room and works cooperatively with Tim the Grothlet. And it is now Isthin's turn.
Cool. Isthin is going to stride up to put himself in striking distance of the Dreshkin. He is then going to take a swing at the Dreshkin. 20 on the die for a 36.
This is just the absolute opposite of the Asagian fight.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I've reshuffled the 14 cards in the crit deck. Did Isthin ace the Dreshkin?
No.
The 4 of spades.
The 4
Sadly.
of spades. slightly less big song from Motorhead, to be sure.
Yeah.
So you just get double damage, but guess what? That's going to be enough to kill it. So let's see what happens.
Hey.
30 damage.
30 damage. Isthan charges forward and slips the staff of protection past Tim the Grothlet, critically colliding with a loose bit of metal on the Dreshkin's face, and basically just turns it off. It just collapses to the ground, just and falls down to the ground. Now, completely deactivated.
Here's my sadness, and I'm generally speaking quite happy with having not died. I really liked the Greek tragedy idea that we were going to do another round of this, and Ao was going to have to do a will save on Timmy's piteous moan, which was going to be her end.
Well, and then if that had happened, we then would have had to fight Timmy, I imagine, because with you being knocked out, I don't know if the
would
if your bracelet would still control him.
Oh, that is a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, dodged a bullet.
Poor
Dodged
Lars.
a piteous moan.
Right.
No, I feel great about that. The number of hero points that got spent in that combat was through the roof. I couldn't have asked for more. I'm just so happy.
Pretty astonishing, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we know we can
was
roll
good fun.
20s again. That's a nice thing to know.
That was
Yeah.
fabulous.
So I want to give you a description of this room as the last bit of electrical charge departs the Dreshkin. This room is a long hall with a bunch of different other prison cells off of it. It's similar to that hallway that you found Sanemi in, but there are more cells. It looks like there's a total of 7 cells in this room. But these cells are being used to store stuff. There are crates, there are barrels, quivers full of arrows, and just like materials like rations, water, that kind of thing. And that's what this room is like. What would you like to do?
Heal?
Heal up.
Refocus?
Yeah, I think characteristically, Ao isn't desecrating bodies or tearing teeth quite yet. She's going to go ahead and heal just a bit.
I mean, none of them are new bodies to Ao anyway.
That's true.
She's seen these all before.
Been there, got those teeth.
Just the number of merchandise ideas that are coming up in this episode is like
I was just going to
staggering.
say that. Yeah.
I really got to get better at Procreate so we can make some bags.
So Ao starts off healing. Let's just run through these heal checks real quick to see how much time it is that we're talking about.
Well, I think I'm just going to use my assurance because it's the one useful assurance out there.
It's the reason why I'm asking. The reason why I'm being a little bit particular about this is that Tim is under your control for 1 hour.
Oh.
We got to get rid of him.
Well, I shouldn't focus on healing him. We can just drag him around injured, but everyone else needs healing, right?
A little.
All right. That was 16 points of healing.
Okay.
And you can do for 2 people, right?
Yes, that was another
Oh.
16. Okay,
Sure.
so I can... Well, there should be enough healing. If Troll is already healed, I think I've done 16, 20, and 33 points of healing,
Okay.
which will more than get me back, and I think should cover everyone else, including Timmy.
So we've got
for sure.
20 more minutes on this timer with the Grothlet then. As it
Great.
takes you 40 minutes for AO to, with great assurance, sort through the medical problems facing this group. I'll say that you don't hear nobody interrupts you. Nobody comes through the door to your north. And I want to get a sense of what everyone is doing as that happens.
So as Trill is being healed, she was on her loot getting refocused.
Okay, so Trill's able to get, because of the remaster, is able to refocus twice and gets both of her focus points back.
Nice. I forgot about that. Thanks, Remaster.
Thanks, remaster.
Yeah, that's such a huge upgrade.
It's the biggest change to the game.
After that 20 minutes, Trill kind of starts wandering around, checking out the walls, observing what doors there are, seeing if there's... Actually, no, but she's the doors, they're all pretty straightforward, so she's checking the bodies and shouting out anything she finds interesting to Ao, since Ao's busy with healing people.
Okay, and what are Isthan and Mag doing as Trill is doing that? Checking out the bodies.
Isthan is refocusing as well.
All right.
Mag will do an investigative sweep of the hallway and its these small adjacent chambers. I guess if there's enough room. We haven't really been able to do that on the room that we were in when we were fighting Isagian, because the door sort of creaked open and this other assault happened so fast. So there's a fair amount of map. I guess we were out in a hallway we'd been in before there, so that doesn't have anything new. But
yeah, Mag cranes her head out into that main hallway. And this is a hallway that you are deeply familiar with at this point. You've faced so many foes here in this hallway. You can tell that the devils running this prison know that this is a strategic, like they need to control this area, basically. As you crane your neck to look down the hall and sort of re-examine the area around you, you get the sense that there's nothing in this large central T-shaped hallway, but that it provides access to so many different doors, so many different places here. So that's the main thing you learn looking out into that hallway. Looking around this room, you see that each of these prison cells has been repurposed to hold like crates, like I mentioned, barrels of water, that kind of thing. But there is one of these cells that has an opaque door. You can't look through it. You can't see through bars into the cell. It's just a door, and when you try that door, it is locked. And when Mag continues searching the hall, Mag and Trill convene at the body of this Zebub, and you both take the opportunity to investigate it, as it is the most obvious thing in the room, so it catches Mag's eye, but it is also the only body that seems to have anything of note on it, so it catches Trill's eye. You notice two things on this body. It's wearing two different chains, like two chains around its neck. One of those chains has an old-looking key on it. The other chain holds a fragment of the pendant that looks as though it may fit with 4 additional fragments to open the pentagram door just outside this room.
Can I ask a really important question?
Please.
If its head came off, was the neck attached to the head or still to the body where they found the necklace?
Okay. One of the chains is attached to the head.
One went up, one went down.
One went up, one went down. The
David's
arrow
head is in his hands.
Your arrow perfectly slipped, but in the spot between the two chains.
Necklaces. Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
amazing.
Trill very excitedly grabs that fifth of the key and pulls the other one out of her pocket and sees if they fit together.
Yes, absolutely they do. And they seem as though they are forming 2 points of a 5-pointed star. It's almost like there's a 5-pointed star that has been perfectly split radially so that each of these pendants has a point.
Do they does it just feel like if you say you break a pot and you just kind of put them together, you see if they go together? Or is there some magical merging between the two?
You don't see any magical merging on these two. It seems to you that the magic in this is all centered on the lock. If you wanted to know more, you'd probably have to take another look at the lock and consider the magic there. So all of you are done healing at the end of this discovery. So what will you do?
I have a question that's slightly less annoying than the last one in that it is genuinely meant.
I loved the last one.
How this bracelet has taken over the Grothlet's mind. Is there any world in which we could befriend this Grothlet having invaded its mind and like change its opinion. Like they're mindless, right? So I guess not.
They're mindless, yeah. The only mind that this creature has is the one that you're imbuing it with.
Right. Let's say, like, as healing this Grothlet, Ao became sort of, aware of its beingness and herself transformed into a Grothlet in an effort to form a camaraderie with it. Not going to happen because it's a mindless bit of ooze. That's a stupid idea.
If I may.
Mm-hmm, you may. That's the whole idea here.
So you can only use this Drover's Band once per day. But there are a number of prison cells nearby. So if you wanted to stow this Grothlet for a future day, that's potentially something you could do.
Nothing messed up about that. Can't see any problems there. That sounds like a great plan.
No moral gray area.
No.
Nope. Very, very clearly good.
If you want to stow this Grothlet, I do. All right. Well, Ao does not feel the need to turn herself into a Grothlet then. I think she's ready to go.
And where was the room that we couldn't get into? I think I want to go back in there. Sorry, Lars, which of these is it that we can't see into? I see. There is another door there that we just can't see into. Well,
can we try this?
So Mag initially passed it by, but having checked out everything else, recovered this piece of the key, she returns to that door. And I guess the first question is there a way to force it?
Absolutely.
Or okay. All right.
We also just found that key.
Yeah, I was going to say the Zabub had a key on its neck. Maybe that.
Oh. Well, but why use the key that might work when you could just force the door? You know what I mean?
These are questions that are up to you to answer.
All right, I want to do both.
You want to do both?
If we wait until Trill gets her package from Galentine's, we'll be able to use a magic knocker.
Okay, let's head back to town.
And wait for a week?
The Grothlet trundles along.
So what are we doing with this door?
I want to take the key from the Grothlet and try it in the lock, but then right as it's about to work, also like give it a nice shove. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You put the key in the lock. It looks like it fits perfectly. Then you shove your shoulder into it, breaking the entire mechanism, and the whole thing just sort of falls on the ground.
Yeah.
Not locking Timmy in there, Ao mumbles to herself.
I didn't build a barbarian to infer which key it is from context clues. So what's inside that I haven't broken?
In this room is like an armory. It is filled with destructive equipment that an army might use for some sort of assault.
To wit?
You find 10 vials of some sort of unstable seeming alchemical equipment.
Ooh.
You find one particularly gnarly looking arrow that looks like it has some sort of gauze wrapped around the point of it. You find 3 strange potions with a murky red look. And you find 3 pieces of ammunition, like a arrow, that are inscribed with strange arcane symbols.
Okie dokie. Well, let's hand out some goodies to spend 10 minutes identifying.
Yeah, sounds like Trill's going to be filling her wig with more potions.
Well, yeah, the alchemical stuff we can never use, so we'll probably sell those. And then, no?
Well, I think that can be thrown.
Oh, right. They could be. Okay, well,
as someone who's been carrying stuff to be thrown for, 50 episodes now, let me tell you, it's super useful, and we definitely rely on it all the time.
Hey, I used a couple of the ice things from Trill's wig.
That's true.
Having it handy makes a difference.
And I know that bottled air is going to come in handy at some point. Anyway, I think we should identify some of this stuff, and we should give the arrow to AO to use for chompers because it's presumably poisoned in some way. But yeah, Lars, how long to get to the bottom?
Each of these things is going to take 10 minutes to make an identification check, which means that I need to know what you're doing with this Grothlet.
I think we could just take it with us and examine it later. Is that irresponsible?
Okay, so it sounds like we are going to identify these items later and keep pushing forward to try to get as much out of this Grothlet as possible. Is that Sort of what I'm hearing.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds good to
none
me.
of this stuff looks like anything we're about to use anytime, or like that's critical to use anytime soon. The last thing you showed us seemed like there may be like bolts for a ballista, and I don't have one of those handy, so I feel like we could just move along.
Well,
Not yet, anyway.
I thought I moved this
Yeah.
into something called I don't know, but I seemed. Oh, here they are. They're okay. So they're all in the bag of holding to be filed later. Does that drive Mag crazy?
No.
Okay.
They're in the sub bag with a question mark on it.
Yeah. Oh, listen. Every system needs an inbox. Like, not everything that you get is going to be immediately like nor do you have time. You have to have. We have several around the house. That's just like this is the place where you put it when you don't have time to put it away, and then every so often on a regular cadence, you go and you empty all of that out, and you get everything where it should be.
Someone hasn't thrown it all out already.
Someone hasn't thrown it all out already.
That all said, you have about 20 minutes left on the Drover's band's control of Tim the Grothlet. And the only way forward that you see from here at the end of these cells, and you see nothing else of any value in any of these other cells. They're all just filled with quotidian day-to-day equipment. Everything of value is in this storage room, which you have dumped into the bag of holding. There is a set of double doors to the north.
Well, let's head up north.
Throw Tim in a cell and open a door.
I think you're bringing Tim with you to take advantage of the extra time, unless I misunderstood.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not putting
trading
him. So
Tim.
okay, so we're gonna use him as fodder.
He's a friend.
Camaraderie. Let's call it camaraderie.
Exploration. Adventure.
I'm really doing great at listening today.
You work your way down this hall, and you hear as you push your. Is anybody scouting for enemies?
Yes.
Ao hears a slight sort of clanging sound on the other side of this door.
A ballista?
And when you push the door open, you find that you are in a large, hot, desperately hot room.
Yeah.
This chamber's walls are charred black, and there are chains hanging from the 20-foot tall ceiling.
Oh.
From those chains, there are suspended shelves holding tools and metal ingots resting against these charred black walls. There's a forge filling an alcove in the north wall, its mouth yawning open, filled with jagged teeth like those of a great beast. And inside of that throat, a blazing fire roars inside.
Awesome.
Between this beast forge's horns, a hole in the ceiling captures the smoke belching out from the forge's nostrils. And there's an anvil resting near the forge. The west wall has a trough of sooty water pushed up against it, and weapon racks flank the door that you have just stepped through. Two devils stand in this room. One, a Barbazu, a bearded devil. You've seen these before. It's got a wriggling iron beard, a nasty rust-covered glaive caked in blood, and thick black metal armor covering its body. But the other devil has a very different look. I'm going to show you what it looks like. He looks more
He's hot.
humanoid. He's there's a lot of hot things happening in here.
Like a fallen angel.
Yeah, he looks like a fallen angel. He has black raven wings on his back. He has glowing golden eyes, and he is wearing ornate metal armor. The metalwork on his armor depicts details of otherworldly creatures with open, howling mouths, torturing and corrupting scores of helpless mortals. He's standing at the forge, swinging an enormous fire-wreathed hammer repeatedly down. Ding! 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 You see that he has another shard of the amulet key around his neck. The Barbazu calls out as he sees you walk through the door. He says,
Dude, Barkumbuck, those humans and whatever they are here.
The devil at the forge with the black angel wings stops swinging the hammer.
Ah, yes. Hark, mine eyes doth tell me that thou art telling the truth, bro. So it happens that these mortals hath defeated that obnoxious Zabub that hath always perturbed our work with incessant nagging and recounting of our damned inventory.
And he smiles and claps his hands together and looks towards the group.
Thou hast done us all a solid, bros. Thine blades cutting down that irritating insectoid buggish thing. I am delighted that her perverse enumeration of our forge's output will at least pause while Euravian doth work to encounter another such bug thing to take the fallen one's place.
And the Barbazu says,
Barkumbuck, yes, she was so annoying. I am totally with you. Quiet! Barbazu, whose name I hath not bothered to learn. Thou art here to fight alongside mine hammer, not to agree with me. Of course, dude. You're totally right. I'm not even here, brother. Now, mortals, thou art fortunate to have laid thine eyes upon this hellforge. Most of thine kind only doth encounter such marvelous sight after their death, whereas thou hast encountered it just moments before yours. Art thou prepared, bros, to be smashed by mine hammer?
You'll be the handsomest guy who ever smashed me.
and we'll pick up from there next time.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.